to our training session today. We're going to be talking about class and event confirmation statements, which are very powerful communication tools to communicate with your customers any class enrollments or event enrollments that have been made on a particular date or over a period of time, possibly even during an open enrollment period, just to send out a confirmation that customer can review and make sure that all the classes they've selected on the days that they've selected still work for their schedule. Same thing with events. So let's jump in and take a look at how this all works. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to select a family here and go ahead and enroll their children in a few programs. So I'm searching for the Flint family. There they are. I'm going to go ahead and select this family. And we've got two students in this family. We've got Kara and Frida. Let's start with Kara. Let's get Kara enrolled in a couple classes. So I've just selected Kara's record. That takes me right to Student Maintenance page 1. And now either I can select on the menu on the left, Enroll Drop Classes, or I can just click the convenient button that's listed at the bottom of her main screen, showing the Enroll Drop Classes button. I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's going to ask me which class I'd like to enroll her in. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put her into a, let's do an Advanced Ballet 1 class. That'll be just fine. And when I click on that class, ClassJuggler is going to present me with the pricing options that I have designed for this class, whether that's paying in full or going month-to-month option. I'm going to just choose the month-to-month option. Since we're actually not going to start this till January, I'm going to ignore the proration options, which we see on the screen, and just go ahead and complete this enrollment. Let me switch it to January of 2017. All right. I'm going to go ahead and complete that enrollment. And now she's in that class. I'm also going to put her into a clogging class. So here's one that I've got set up. And this one has a default tuition of $80 for the entire duration of the class. I'll go ahead and just complete that enrollment by clicking on my Enroll button. And now she's in that second class. Let's go to the other child in this family. And I can do that conveniently just by clicking on the Next Student button right here in the student menu. That'll take me to the next student in the same family without having to go back to the student listing or the parent record or anywhere else. It just makes it really convenient working with a single family at one time. So when I click on that button, you'll notice it takes me to Frida's record. So her information is listed across the top right there. Again, if I click Previous Student, that'll take me back to Kara. And you can see the two classes that we selected right there at the top on the Currently Enrolled Classes section. I'm going to go ahead and click on Next Student again, just as a shortcut to take me to her sibling, Frida. And ClassJuggler tells me there's no class enrollment records to display for this student. So I'm going to go ahead and select one. I'm going to choose the Advanced Ballet 2, just again for example purposes. You may have different types of classes, whether they be gymnastics, music, swim, etc. And again, I'll just choose the default tuition for this example, and I'll complete that enrollment. This one also has a mandatory or an optional costume fee. I'm going to go ahead and select that so that goes ahead and gets billed to that family right away. And now I've saved that, so we've got Frida enrolled in the Advanced Ballet 2 class. So now let's go ahead and generate a confirmation statement for this family. So depending on the situation, I may send confirmation statements to a single family or to multiple families. So let's go ahead and see how that works. Confirmation statements are reports, so the first thing I need to do is select my main menu for reports. When I click on that, I'm going to get my full list of reports organized by category. So if I go to my Customer Reports section, you'll see the second report listed there are my confirmation statements. And that's exactly what I'm interested in generating right now. So I'm going to click on that report. That's going to take me to the screen where I can select all the different options for generating this report. Now there's 4 different ways you can run this report. And that's up at the report type drop down. Now when I select that, you'll see we've got print many, which generates a batch print of confirmation statements. That's if I want to physically hand out confirmations to families or parents or to students. I could also print one, which would allow me to select a single customer to print a confirmation statement. I can do email many, which is the same as print many, except it's not generating printed reports. It's actually going to email that nicely formatted confirmation statement directly to that parent. Or I could email one, which sends a single confirmation statement to a selected customer or family via email. That's the one I'm going to choose because we're only working with a single family right now. But if you had done multiple enrollments, or you've just finished an open enrollment period and you want to send confirmation statements to all your customers, you might choose email many or print many. So I'm going to select email one. That's going to modify the screen slightly to show only the options appropriate for that type of report. And obviously the first thing I need to do is select the customer that I want to generate this confirmation statement for. So I click on select customer, and I will select Flint, and I'm going to just search for Flin. There's Barney Flint. Excellent. And when I click that name, you'll see it pulls that customer information right into my report options. I also can review the message that's going to appear at the top of the statement. If I want to change it, I can click on my edit button here and make modifications. In this case, I'm going to just use the boilerplate version that ClassJuggler provides me. And there's some other options which I can do, which allows me to filter by the status of the student, the status of the actual classes, and show a variety of different information for the classes as they're generated in the confirmation statement. So I've got a number of these already selected. It's also going to tell me who the email from address is, as well as the subject that's going to be generated. All I need to do now is say I'm ready to send this out to Barney Flint, and I'll click on Generate Report. It's going to ask me to confirm that. I'm going to click Yes, and it's telling me that it has successfully generated this report into our Batch Report Manager. And the Batch Report Manager is where a lot of the emailed reports go as they're generated and queued up for processing. And for me to just take a look at that, all I need to do is go to the top of my Reports menu and click on the Batch Report Manager to see the status of that report. In this case, you'll see it's been submitted, so the little bubble's in light gray with an S in it. And now that that report's finished, I can go ahead and click on this link. That's just going to open up a quick text message, not text message, but a text document showing that the email was successfully generated to the customer, so I know everything worked okay. And now we can actually take a look at what this looks like in our email. And I just happen to have that open for us to take a look at. And here's what the confirmation would look like. Dear customer, this confirmation statement contains a list of all the students we have associated with your account and the classes that they are enrolled in, etc., etc. So here's the customer information at the top, and then we'll see the different student information along with a list of all the classes and the details of those classes for that family or that parent to review. So this is just a great single document that you can email or print and generate for families, which will have a nice summary of all the classes in this statement format that their students are enrolled in. So they'll have a good reference, day of the week, what the schedule is for that class. This is something that they can hold on to and use for their own scheduling purposes. It also provides your business contact information at the bottom, just in case they have any questions or need to contact you to make any changes to that schedule. So that's confirmations or class confirmation statements. And as you can see, it's very simple to run, but they're very powerful from a communication standpoint in all the information that you can provide to that family with just a few clicks. And again, this could be done for a single family, or it could be done for multiple families, making this even more powerful. Now let's take a look at event confirmation statements. They're very similar to class confirmation statements, but they're generated from events, which are slightly different from classes in that they're generally 1 day or less in duration, often special activities, things like tryouts, competition dates, private lessons, things like that. So let's go to our events main menu to start the process of getting one of the Flint children into an event. So I'm going to select the events main menu. That's going to take me just to the dashboard where I can see the different types of events. We're actually going to use this to assign a private music lesson to one of the students. So let's do that now. I'm going to click on the calendar of events, which brings up a nice calendar so I can look at this from a month-to-month basis. I'm actually going to move this forward to January 2017. And I know that that particular family wants to put Kara into a Wednesday private lesson for music. And I'm going to select this particular event. It's a private music lesson. It is currently open. It hasn't been booked. It has a capacity of 1, being taught by one of our instructors, Naomi. So when I select that private event, what I do is I get this nice information screen. It shows me all the details of that particular event and when it's held and who's teaching it. And then I can go ahead and enroll the student that I'm interested in putting into that event. So I'm going to click on my enroll button at the bottom. We're not dealing with parties or anything, so there's no concept of guests. But I'm going to go ahead and enroll the existing student. And I'm going to again search for Flint, since that's a family I'm working with. And there's Kara. That's who we wanted to put into this private event. So I've selected that her name from the list. And that brings up some details about this particular event that I need to respond to. So it's showing me the student's information at the top, the event template information, the scheduled event information, and then I notice that there's a question associated with this event. Is this your first class with us? I'm going to say no, because we have taken additional classes with you. And there is a requirement of agreeing to a particular policy that's part of this particular private music class. Now I've already agreed to this from a prior event that I've enrolled in, so it's already checked and shows that I have already acknowledged that policy and agreement. So I'm pretty much done now with this page. I'm going to click on next step, and that's going to provide me with the final pricing information. Since this is a fixed price class, I don't need to make any adjustments to this. I'm going to just event, and I'm going to complete that enrollment in this event by clicking on the enroll button. Now, one of the nice things about the event system, because these are kind of encapsulated into themselves, you can generate a confirmation statement at the end of an event enrollment process, just as part of the process. So you'll see here right before we're done, ClassJuggler says, hey, would you like to print or email an individual confirmation statement for Kara Flint in this event? I'm going to go ahead and say yes. And when I click on yes, you'll notice it takes me directly to the event confirmation report. It's already selected the appropriate report type, which is email 1. There are 4 report types, very similar to the class confirmation statements, where I can print many, 1, email many, or email 1. But it's already selected this because we know we're coming out of the end of an event enrollment for an individual family. This is the person that it's going to, or the family that it's going to. Again, we've got our message here that we can customize, and some other options down here for showing more detail in that confirmation statement. And when I'm ready to go, I can generate that report. I'm going to say yes. And again, that's going to put that into our batch report manager queue, since this is an email, and send that out probably within 60 seconds. So let's jump right into our batch report manager and make sure that this is completing. And now I've clicked refresh, and you'll notice that this report is now fully complete. And here it is. I could click on this to get the information about it, but I'm pretty sure that I got that email sent to that parent. Let's take a look at what that email looks like. So I'm going to flip over to my email program, and sure enough, here's an event confirmation statement. You'll see the title of it is Event Confirmation Statement. Again, it addresses the customer, Dear Customer. This is the customer's information, the event information, private music, the date, the begin time, the end time, who's teaching it, and where it's located. And again, there's some detailed information about the event, so the individual can read about that. as well as the participant information, in this case Kara Flint. She's an enrollee in that class. There's her tuition rate, as well as the answer that she provided and the policy that was agreed to for this particular event. So again, this is documenting everything pertinent to that particular event and communicating that directly to your customer so that there's no need to send them a follow-up email that you have to type in manually with all the information about that particular event that they're participating in. It's generated with all the details that were part of that event automatically just by agreeing or saying yes at the end of that event enrollment process. So I hope you can see how powerful class confirmation statements as well as event confirmation statements are from a communication standpoint to the parents that are taking classes with you. And if you want a little more information about these, definitely visit our reports, confirmation statements, as well as event confirmation statements from the reports menu. And then check the help and links menu by clicking on the appropriate link, in this case event confirmation statement, and you'll get a full discussion of how event confirmation statements work and all the options that'll be available to you when you run those reports. So that's event and class confirmation statements in a nutshell. We hope you find a great amount of value in those, and happy juggling!